Hello and welcome to another video from In3D Software. Today I want to talk to you about room details and ceiling details in particular. So if we go to the Start and then Room Plan button, we can create a rectangular room by clicking on this button here. I'm just going to select my walls and make them a little thinner, let's say 100mm. And then what I'm going to do is just select a couple of walls here and make them a little bit longer. And then I'll just drop in some doors in here as well. So one of the nice features in IX23, the latest version of the software, is that we can edit these doors on the fly after we've been inserting them. So what I'll do is I'll quickly create a camera. So I'll just type the control word camera and then position myself over here, looking in this direction, and press enter. I can then select the camera and you can see it'll bring up a preview, and right now I'm like a little mouse on the floor here, so I need to go a little bit higher. So I'll right click and go to properties, and that'll bring up my properties palette for the camera, and I can say that my eye level is 1650. That's going to make it a little bit higher, and then I want to be looking pretty much straight ahead, so I'll say that the target is at 1650 as well. Okay, now that I've positioned my camera, if I go to the presentation tab, I can click on camera, and you can see in here now I've got my room that I've created, and I'll get rid of my doors, and then in here you can see I've now got in IX23 the ability to customize these here. So I'll just say that I want to be a single door and I want it to be right hand hung, and I can even show this open if I want it to. Same would apply for the windows, so I'll click on those and I can then just change these out to be my preferred windows of choice. Okay. You'll also notice that I've got this coved detail in here, and this is because it's one that I've created automatically to come in when I create the room. So how have I gone about creating this? Well, if we go to Open and open an AutoCAD drawing, you'll notice that if we go to the library folder, we have section DWG and then ceiling, and you can see that I've got quite a few in here already. Get in touch if you'd like me to share some of these with you, because this will save you a little bit of time if you do like to change up your ceiling details. But let's create one from scratch. So what I'm going to do is go to this one here, which is called a Cornice 110 with web and spotlights, and then I'm going to click open. And then what I've got here now is just a simple 2D drawing of the cross section of my cornice detail, and then I've got two lights over here, and then I've got this little text attribute box, which I'll discuss in a second. So the first thing I want to do is actually create my cornice detail, and this XY coordinate in here is quite important. So what I'm going to do is just trace over this and make a little bit more detail on it. So I'll say that, for example, this should be a more angular style cornice, and now that's going to be quite flat. And then what I can do in here is maybe just add in a bit of a circle or something like that, and then trim that out. And then what I want to do is just trace over this now, but with a polyline. So I can press A for arc, trace up to here, line, up to the top, and then I just snap my line work so that I've got the cross section of my cornice or moulding or whatever ceiling detail I want in there. Then I can move my lighting around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my lights a little bit closer in here, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to actually rotate it around, pointing back at this, and then move it down so it's almost like the light is firing directly at the wall in here behind. This larger light in here, I'm going to move a bit further into the center of the room. So I've now got the two lights, and then what I want to do is control how those lights are spaced around the room. So in here I've got this attribute file, and if I double click and open up the settings, you can see that I've got the tag light pos lindiv, which I need to have typed in, and then a prompt. And then I've got a linear division in here controlling the quantity and spacing of the lights. So it's going to recognize those lights and then space them at 1200. And if you pause the video here, you'll be able to copy that linear division, or you can simply just say that I want these to be spaced equally along the length of the wall by using a linear division like so. Type in your linear division, and then let's just save. So in here, I'm going to save this as a new drawing. And in here, I'm just going to call this new example. Click save, and then go back to my drawing, click on the ceiling. And I can then change to be new example, and that's going to pull through my new molding detail. And if I bring up my light glyph display and turn this on, you can see it's brought through now the lights pointing at the walls, and then it's also brought through those orange balls, which are the IES lights. So if I go up to the lights in here and then click on this little button here just towards there, I can then select those web lights and then go to the properties for the web lights. And then I can add in a particular web file. So you can download from the internet IES data, which is real life lighting data. And I'm going to choose this ceiling spotlight data in here and say that this should be an incandescent color. It should be targeted. And in here, I'll just say that the intensity factor should be 1.5, let's say. Let's just have a quick render and see what the results look like now. So I'll just go and put in a full HD, medium quality. I won't turn on the adjust exposure, so it's like it's at night time. And I'll just double click on the teapot. And you can see in here, my lights are quite bright, so I just need to turn those down a little bit. And I think I'll also alter the ceiling color as well. So let's just change my ceiling color in here. I'll go for a light grey ceiling color and change my wall finish. And instead of that being a stucco color, let's go for a grey brick sandblast, something like that. So I've just got a little bit of texture on there. Now let's go to my lights again, and I'll say that they should be 0.8 power incandescent using the same lighting. And then we'll go to the other spotlights in here, the ones that are pointing at the walls, and say, yes, these are targeted. And then the target should come a little bit further down the wall, a little bit more. Let's say it should be more like 500. I can also alter things like hotspots and fall-offs in these settings. And if I now just go to the teapot and just render again. Okay, so still quite bright. So one of the best ways to alter that is to go to the exposure, and then in here, just make that a little bit darker. There we go. And you can see I'm getting some like little white spots in here, as well as the lighting coming through. That's how you can create custom ceiling details. In the next video, we'll take this a step further and look at more complicated ceiling and roofing. Thanks for watching.